What do you get when you mix stolen beats, AI robots, and Filipino girl groups selling out stadiums? Well, a very spicy week in the music world. We've got the tea, we've got the takes, and some uncomfortable truths coming your way. Buckle in.
Bang.
Are we doing this again?
What? I'm trying to add something new to the beginning of our things.
The GidKidDad Show.
Quack! It's a great day to play, everybody. Welcome on in to the channel. What?
What?
That was just noises. You sounded like Stitch.
Hey,
Mahalo means family.
something that
You
you
know?
don't seem to understand about me
Here
is
we go.
that I don't make mistakes, and my S is always hot. It's the first few minutes we can't swear, but my ish is always hot. Okay, okay. Whatever I do or say is fire. Okay,
Sure.
so understand those two things. Don't make mistakes. What was the second one?
You're fired.
Okay. My ish is always hot.
You're what?
My ish,
You're what?
my ish.
I want somebody to like that's not us to like. I feel like it would be perfect for like one of those like compilation videos where it's like my ears, my ears, my ears, 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 ears. You know, and I like
Ish.
yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded
So-
perfect for that. Anyway, whether it's the first time here, you're joining us. Thank you for being here with us today. Love, appreciate it. Always welcome here in this channel. You are
Enough.
episode 2, baby.
Yeah, we're still here.
We're still here. Everybody's probably really thinking that we're not coming back.
No, we're here. We're here. In it to win it.
We're in it to win it. And we got some good stuff today. So, where is this podcast going? I mean, that's really the real question, right? Because
Yeah.
we're kind of all over the way. We've done a lot of different things in the past, and this podcast is meant to be a little bit a mixture between like entertainment and news and music conversations, and then
Yeah.
we're going to bring guests on and stuff like that to talk about some of the biggest things. There's going to be a lot of hot takes on here,
Yeah.
a little bit of controversy at times, which we're not afraid of.
We're
ever.
bringing you the unfiltered, unbiased news.
I think it's the unfiltered raw scripture.
That was a
If
good
you
one.
know, you know.
That was if you know, you
They
know.
won't know yet.
They don't.
But so today we're going to talk about we got a couple of segments already planned out. So one,
Mhm.
there's some stuff happening right now
No, yeah,
in the K-pop
I mean,
world.
okay.
the
Usually
K-pop
there
world.
is, though, you know?
Yeah, well,
Especially the last few years.
generic bland things happening right now.
Yeah, yeah.
There is stuff happening. There is a K-pop group. They did K-pop group things.
Yes.
End of episode. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. No, so YG versus JJ Fad.
Yeah.
A little bit of music rights happening here. We're gonna go into in a little bit,
Yep.
so that's interesting. AI getting access to the Grammys
I don't even
before
want to talk about it.
some other people have.
I don't even want to talk about
Beanie and SB19 kind of returning from their tours and wrapping up their tours and stuff like that. What that means and kind of some of the relevance, economic relevance for that. For Spades made a huge comeback.
it. Yes.
But want to talk a little bit about kind of like an emotional return and like market relevance and like when these groups kind of come back after a long period of time. And then KCON LA, fandom fatigue, platform power.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to talk about all of that.
All right. That's great.
So the way that these are going to go for the most part, because their first episode, which was a 2-part, was really just more of us kind of being like, hey, what happened? Why haven't you really seen a lot of us over the
Yeah.
last 2 years and what's been going on? But the way the podcast is going to go is basically we're going to have an intro segment like this. We're going to introduce to you whatever the people are that are going to be on with us, spend a little time on that. Then we're going to do deep dive segments, take like 10 to 12 minutes per segment, so you guys can get kind of some quick fire stuff happening. Then we're going to do an ending where we're always going to ask some fan questions so that we can get you guys involved, because we
Yes.
really like one of our favorite things to do is when you guys ask questions and we're able to like extrapolate that.
It makes
on
it
the
a lot
podcast.
easier.
It's so fun, but it's also fun.
Well, right.
Like,
It's
you know,
nice to know. To me, it's just nice to know people are listening.
people
and-
actually care
yeah.
about
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
But I just like, because like sometimes the best questions are that, and when you think about it, most of the fans, they're the ones at home that like this podcast is for, the people that really want to understand more about music or more about the industry. So like when we get questions from them, it's like you and I know everything that's happening,
Yeah.
right? But for me, I'm like, I don't necessarily know like the dying questions of them, because we're plugged in,
We're in it.
you know. And then finally some closing reflections, you know.
Cool. Closing
That's gonna-
reflections.
Closing reflections.
That sounds like a weird, like diner.
Yeah.
Closing reflections.
Closing reflections, or like a spa.
No, it sounds like an old people's home.
Oh, and
Closing
closing. Oh, and closing because like the end of their life.
yeah,
Oh no.
Yeah.
Welcome to Closing Reflections,
Oh. Oh no.
where we help you go from the start to the end
Oh.
in style. Our suites feature state of the art. You know,
Yes. Beds
like, bed racing.
Bed racing.
It's one of like the activities.
Bed racing.
Dude, that would be the shit.
Yeah, it would be cool.
I would go to a home that had bed racing.
just
Just like, but going super, super slow.
Thirsty. I will rise again, shine brighter. Click, click, moving with the shit. Make his jaw drop with the arsenal. We don't never slip. Slow and silky.
What are we doing? God. Anyway, here we go.
What's the-
YG.
yes, YG.
YG versus JJ. Okay, so before we start this, so let's talk a little bit about kind of like a little bit of what happened. So I want to give a little bit of background so people kind of know who don't know what's happening, and then we have some great tapes
Yes.
that we're gonna roll. I don't know how much we're gonna be able to play of it, but we're gonna at least play a little bit. So okay, so for those of you who don't know, Baby Monster
Yes.
recently in the last like month or so released a song called Hot Sauce. Okay, did
Sauce.
very, very well.
Hot.
Great song.
Sauce.
Very,
Yeah.
very. It's very, very catchy. Very, very good song. That being said, that song is almost a direct interpolation.
Interpolation. Is that a real word?
It's a real word.
Interpretation?
No, interpolation. Interpolation. Okay, so there's a difference. I'm glad that you asked. Okay, so I'm glad that you asked.
Sheldon Cooper.
So basically, instead of sampling,
Yeah.
okay, where that would be, interpolation is basically, for the fans at home, interpolation is that you're gonna remake the song, but like in your own style.
Right.
It is not a direct remake because there's going to be things. So an interpretation of the song is something that's similar. The interpolation, though, is basically like you are creating something new, but you're clearly using the patterns,
Right.
cadences, or things like that from the original.
Right.
Okay, versus just making kind of a cover or sampling it.
Correct.
Okay, which
Correct,
that
okay.
would be the interpretation
Ah,
category. All right.
interpretation,
So the
interpolation.
interpolation is that they re-recording elements instead of sampling it.
Gotcha.
Okay, and we're gonna we'll go through here in a second. We're gonna do the side by side of this. But so this actually originally was a song from 1988 called Supersonic by a
Yes.
group called JJ Fad.
Good song.
And yeah, very good song. Another
Yeah.
girl group. And JJ Fad, though, not super happy about it.
Yeah.
They did. We're not going to show this video. And again, if you guys want to go and look into more, you can. But they did come out and they say that they were super flattered. They came on TikTok and they said like, we're super, super flattered. We actually love the song. Song's really great. However, they were like, but would have been really, really nice if
To get a
anybody
phone
had
call.
reached out to us
Yeah.
and asked if you could use this.
Yeah.
And so it really kind of brings into question intellectual property. that it deserves respect, and that there's not some clearance. And then we're going to talk about that after we go through kind of all of this. So the first thing I'm going to play for you guys is just kind of a video that we found that's just funny.
Yeah.
So it's somebody's take on this that we're going to play part of. Again, we do not own the rights to this. It's just a TikTok video of somebody who's talking about it. And then I want to play this side by side. We're probably going to be able to show like 6 seconds of each one.
Yes.
But I want to play the side by side so you guys can hear what we are talking about.
Yeah.
So here we go. First video is just somebody talking about this.
Word out here in these TikTok streets, Baby Monster got a new single called Hot Sauce, goddamn. And they didn't sample JJ Fad Supersonic. Supersonic. You know what I mean? That shit. That hits motherfucking single right there. That shit was like, you know what I mean, top tier back in the day. You know what I mean? Straight like that. But JJ Fad said, y'all could have asked. Y'all could have reached out. Y'all could have did something instead of just taking our shit. You feel me?
I feel it.
They honored and all that. They even liked the song. You know what I mean? But the fact that y'all ain't reach out about that sample, there could be some problems. You feel me? Like, real talk. So they said they gonna give y'all time to get y'all mind right, get that paperwork right, and holler. You might know, you might not know. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, now we know.
Okay. Now we know. Now we know.
It's like he came from the same neighborhood Bernie Mac did. You know what I mean? Like that. You feel me?
Yes.
Like that was very similar
Yes.
kind of cadence. Dude, awesome, awesome.
So, okay, why is this video relevant? Why are we showing you this video outside of, some comic relief a little bit?
Yeah.
There's seriousness in this video. And one of the things that, for better or for worse, whether we're going to attack, one of the things that K-pop has taken a lot of heat for over time has been kind of the appropriation, a lot of times, of hip-hop or black culture.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And we see it all the time. We see it in groups that have had to release apologies. We've seen it very, very recently with Kiss of Life.
Yes.
That, literally, there was an entire attempt to cancel the group. We've seen it throughout. Go ahead.
No.
I
was moving.
We've seen, a lot of things like, the wearing of clothes, cornrows, the use of improper language that you shouldn't be using, right?
Yeah.
Just a lot of things, and it's so different, and especially like talking. We've been in the Philippines for the last year and a half, right?
Yeah.
Man, you don't realize it because we're raised here, right? Like where we live right now, right? Like we're kind of in the hood.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But you're around it every day. Like we both went to an inner city school. That's how we met. Right.
Yeah.
And so like you're surrounded by different cultures every day. And there's an acknowledgement of that respect. And then also a very deep cultural background to race, to culture, to things like that here. Yeah. And that's like taught in school, right? It's just like something that we grow up with, where in a lot of the Asian countries, like they don't have that. There is no, so like all that they know about the culture is just what they see in glorified movies, what they hear in songs,
right?
But there's no cultural relevance or background, and a lot of times that ends up backfiring on groups.
When it comes to, so there's this, it's an invisible thin line where it goes from like just being a fan of something and doing something along those lines, to then it becomes like an actual weirdly appropriation. Like that's just kind of like culturally insensitive, but no one ever knows where those lines are, and they're always moving. Yeah. So like there was a time sometime in the 2000s where like anybody could have cornrows and it was cool. And then before that they couldn't, and then after that they couldn't. But it was just kind of like, it kind of is where the culture is at the moment, and how sensitive the culture is at the moment. And like if you're taking something from, let's say, this culture, let's say we take something from the Korean culture, and at that moment Koreans are in a place where they feel disenfranchised or whatever it may be, that would be a bad moment to do that. It kind of really depends on when. But in this case, it's not that kind of thing. This is just like hey, I heard a dope song. I'm
Yes.
not. We could sample it and give them 50%, or we could just remake it, and maybe they won't see it.
Yeah.
Like,
So let's talk about that a little bit. Before I do that, I'm gonna show you guys the song side by side, so you can kind of see here. I want to be very, very clear that when we talk about these things, a lot of times, like, we're not necessarily taking a side on some of these. Like, there are rights and wrongs that we're going to talk about that we are going to take a side on. But we bring the topics up. We're
Right.
really opening them up for discussion.
okay,
What?
This dude, TikTok is
TikTok is like, you will play me now.
right.
If we're going to take a stance on something, is that TikTok needs to stop that.
Yes.
But it's also to, like, start the dialogue and the conversation so we can have that. And that's what we're going to do. So let me play this for you guys before it automatically plays on me again. Here are the two songs side by side.
Okay, so
Okay.
now that I'm hearing that like that,
No.
okay,
Okay,
guys,
TikTok. Why?
can you guys stop?
Why?
Stop it, TikTok.
Why? It's like
Okay.
it stops and then it's like, hey, we're back.
I feel about it.
Okay. Pros and cons. So the same cadence structure is basically there,
Yes.
right? So you have the same cadence structure. The backing track is also nearly identical there.
It's that break beat that's in that song in Supersonic. I don't know if the drum beat, I don't know if it's from a break beat from a different record, because back then that's how they did drums. They grabbed it from a
Yep.
different record. So
Yep.
it could have been from a different record and sped up, which is also like,
That may require sampling as well.
right. So, and then the bass, it's in a different key. They added in the horns, and then the dun 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 dun, which wasn't
Yeah.
in the original. So, like, if you use the same break beat, dude, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
So, but this is one of those things where you can definitely, first off,
You can feel it.
it's not that you can feel it, but this didn't get created without inspiration from that.
Well, 100%.
right?
no.
Because it was clearly made to be an old school track. And so it came from somewhere. So, and this is where the interpolation part comes in. What is
Dude, I can't get behind it. That doesn't sound right.
what is the percentage though? Because this is almost like you literally went in and, like, what AI does, and you were like, please remake this song, but make sure that it passes
fine.
copyright
Yeah, yeah.
muster. And it's like, if it has to be 80% different or 20% different, it can only be 80% the same. It's like they pushed it to 79.9%.
Right.
To
yeah.
the edge, right? You even have the part in the song where, like, they are talking about the supersonic girls, and in the same exact part, they go the baby monster, the BABA.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, they're following the pattern. And so the question, I guess, gets asked is, because we're artists and we're producers. If this was our song and somebody else released that, like, if
Video
think
about
about
it,
it, think about it this: we're supersonic.
Yeah.
We hear that,
Right.
you're gonna feel like it was copied,
Yeah, of course.
correct? And that, again, that came from somewhere.
Right.
And so there's something to be said about, like, there is the legal thing and the right thing.
Right.
Okay? The legal part of this is that there is I think that this is close enough that there is a case that could be made
It definitely
that
could
it
be.
was stolen. And then that's up to the courts to decide. And we've seen courts rule on stuff for less,
Dude,
especially
like,
recently.
and I don't know anything about, like, YG and how their management and all that goes, how their company goes, but, like, to be as big as they are right now,
Yeah.
like, because it's huge, and then to have a song come through and be like, oh, that's what's it called, and they're like, yeah, but, like, these are our fleet of lawyers. Now, I'm not saying this is what they said.
No, but you're right.
But this is our fleet of lawyers, and that group, let's see what's going on, blah, 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 enter girl's name from that group, net worth. Okay, I think we're fine. I think we're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's how they're operating, but that's how I would see that happening.
Yeah. And I think that you hit the nail on the head of this is happening more and more frequently. We're seeing this. So we're seeing a lot of use of old songs. And this could have been a completely different case. Let's say the song comes out and it flops.
Right.
Okay. You're still going to pay the same rights generally, plus percentages and plus points, regardless of whether the song does well or the song flops.
Right.
Because the larger you are as an artist, that's where those upfront fees and that licensing is going to come from, right?
Right.
And I think that what you're seeing more and more is you're seeing large companies say, we don't care because if the song blows up, we'll pay them anyway.
Right.
But let's just release it first.
Right.
And then because if the song doesn't do well, they're not going to come after us for damages.
Right.
So now we don't have to pay either as much or we don't have to pay at all.
Right.
Versus if the song does do well, it doesn't matter because we earned the money from it ahead of time, and then we just use that money to pay the legal fees, and then like we basically do first ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah. Now, like, to me, is that right or wrong? Like, is as a big company, like one that's actually doing well, I think that in for the sake of art's sake and music's sake,
Yeah.
you give them a call and say, hey, we'll give you 5% of this song. It's going to do well because our music usually does well. Baby Monster always murders.
Yeah.
We'll give you 5% if you just let us do this. That 5% is actually
Okay.
going to go a really long way for your
Yes.
old catalog, and it's going to be a good amount of money because we kill it. So, like, for the sake of music, yeah. Like, if you're a company like us, like where we're not that size of a company, putting it out and saying sorry later, that might be a thing you have to do because, like, you just don't have even the context to ask.
Yes. That's a different story.
But
right?
but YG, it's like, dude, just pick up the phone.
Yep.
No, you don't even have to. Have your assistant figure out the phone number.
Right. It's not that they're, and I think that's the point that they're making as well. It's not that they wouldn't have even cleared this. Who knows? Sometimes people just do it for free because it revives the original
Right.
song and they're getting paid from the original song. It's the respect aspect. Now, there's a second part of this though, and this comes back into the appropriations part.
Yeah.
Okay? This was a huge and iconic song from hip hop history
Right.
that an Asian group has now used to vitalize or revitalize their own careers.
Right.
Right. And so, and I say this because we look at it through the context and we look at it through that lens, not saying the right or wrong, but I want to put on a different lens on this. Imagine right now with where we're at in the US,
Mm-hmm.
imagine if a country artist, a white country artist,
Yeah.
used this song and didn't pay them, and from a major label used the song, didn't pay them, and that was the case right now. What do you think would be the public uproar to that?
I mean, obviously, it wouldn't be great.
Wouldn't be great, right?
No.
And so I think that the only reason, like when we look at these things, I think that a lot of times we're seeing some of these companies play very fast and loose with the rules because locally it's not going to cause an uproar locally.
Yeah.
But this guy that then heard this song, this is clearly a guy that's not listening to K-pop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The one that we just listened to. He's not listening
Yeah.
to K-pop. But it hit home, and what it does not do well is it does not help you with world building. It does not help if your whole point was to get into the homes and the households that you're currently not getting in right now, to expand your universe. It is not going to help with that case. Especially when there is a history already of that appropriative action.
And the point of the song was to bring in more people from a
Yes.
different thing. And like, I had a train of thought that I was thinking about. And now I lost it. But I don't think that this is like such a huge deal as far as the appropriation part goes, because like, to me, the sound, let's say I'm a producer, I
Yep.
am, but let's say I'm the guy who produced this track.
Yeah.
He's 25, and he was really into 80s music, you know, like he's kind of like a discography kind of guy. And in his mind, who knows? I'm just saying, in his mind, like, oh, I'm going to make something that sounds like the early 90s hip hop that was out. And back then, there was like 20 people making big tracks. There wasn't a million like there is now. So the sound of the early 90s was only like 5 people to pick from.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if someone said, we're going to 20 years from now, let's make a song of the 2025s.
Yeah.
Everything, there's
Very
so
different.
much. So like that's the tough part, because if you want to stylize something to a point before streaming, then you don't have much to pick from.
Yeah.
You have like 5 breakbeats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it's a really tough thing, because like it is the sound of that time.
Yeah.
Like that is that sound. It just so happens that only 4 bands were out. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
this brings up then the opposite side, right? Because we really talked about the ways in which this could go one way. We've talked about like the legal aspects one way, the transparency, the reasons why you'd want to do it, and how it could be seen from a cultural standpoint as like maybe like appropriation or whatever, like all the negatives, right? And clearly those negatives are coming through right now because it made it here.
Right.
You know what I mean? People are talking about it. But on the other side of that, and being music producers and the things that we know, first off, there's a lot of things that are left unsaid right now. One, we have no idea whether Supersonic actually owns their own rights to this catalog.
Right.
Correct?
We don't know.
Especially from the 80s, so many artists did not own the rights to their catalogs, or very, very minority rights. So there is a possibility here, while there hasn't been an answer yet. And that's the only reason that I'm thinking that there might be some truth to this, is generally when things come out, like the K-pop companies are really, really good about releasing a statement right away and saying, no, we did reach out to the rights owners, which is WNG or whoever would own the rights to this, Republic Records, whatever, right? But we don't know all the legal info. So we don't know who actually owns the rights to this particular part of the song that they're doing. So talking about copyright infringement may be premature. The second part of it is what you're talking about. So similar sonic moments in songs do not necessarily indicate copywriting.
Right.
How many songs out of the 80s use 1, 2, 3 into the 4?
Right. So, yeah.
So who's the first person that used it, right? In fact, a lot of the songs, to your point, a lot of the songs from the 80s were specifically made, and a lot of DMCA and the need for copyright was made because of all the sampling that was happening that made those songs big to begin with, and sampling was a huge part of the culture. And so there is something to be said about, like, especially in this version of the song, those cadences were very, very widely used in hip-hop back then.
Yes.
Those beats, you had an 808 machine. You literally only had 8 drum samples, 8 piano sounds.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So like
And
they're
barely
very,
even
very,
that.
they're very, very similar.
And but a lot of times people were just pulling chunks of songs from the 60s, speeding them up and calling and saying, this is mine, you know?
Yeah.
So like, and this isn't even that. This was obviously completely reproduced.
Yes.
I, like, me personally, like, especially if they don't own the rights to that song, it's like, what, you know?
Yeah.
But if they do, to me, it's like, okay, YG, for the sake of the fact that we're in the arts, it is a business. You know, it is a business, and we say that all the time. This is still a business, but it is the arts.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of give when it comes to that, and like to say, like, I'll just give you, we'll give you 1% of this song. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Especially for a song as big as this.
Yeah.
You know?
And I definitely don't. I don't think that there is any way with how big YG's music department is that somebody didn't connect the dots. Okay? Like,
Yeah.
I don't see it. You
Right.
know, that somebody didn't connect the dots. That being said, if somebody didn't connect the dots, that's also part of the problem that I think that we're seeing, is that there's a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah.
This also could be a piece, though, where we're talking about it right now. They're talking about it right now. This could be a very smart calculation on the company's part of let people talk about it.
True.
Let them wonder, because the buzz that it's creating for the song, how many people did not know what hot sauce was
Yeah.
before this started coming up? The guy that just did that rant.
How many million views do you think just from this?
Could be. And the fact that people are playing, like, think about all the big TikTokers that are doing the side-by-side comparisons right now. And so that sound is now showing up on TikTok, and now they're getting paid
Yeah.
on TikTok. And
And
now
the
that's
other one.
trending, right? So so there is something to be said about sometimes these companies are making calculated decisions of, well, we purposely didn't reach out because this is exactly what we wanted. We were going to pay for it one way or another.
Right.
At least this
Right.
way, there's no such thing as bad press. Now, I would still ask the questions, though. You're YG. You have Blackpink on tour right now. You've already taken heat for things like this. Sometimes you have to think about, like, the continuous berating and that kind of same messaging or that PR problem that you're facing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's not worth it, you know?
For a company that big, because our company is very different. We're out here talking to the people.
Yeah.
People can directly comment on things that we post with our own fingers.
Yeah.
As a company like that, and a company that big, like, you might know the name of the CEO for YG because you do that kind of research.
Mhm.
I don't. I probably won't ever. And even if you told me, I'll forget.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter to them.
Mhm.
Like, it can on Twitter. Twitter can literally start on fire with their name, and they'll just be like, "Okay, anyway, board meeting." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it doesn't. The PR part doesn't matter until artists are like, "No, we're not signing with you," and like that's
Artists, stock prices. Those are the two
Yes,
things that
yes.
make them that make them pay attention, right?
But business people know, as we know, because we've been going through all kinds of different stuff, is that business people go like, "What's that over there?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, that's a bunch of," and they're like,
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about business.
Let's go on.
Right.
So anyway, very, very interesting though, right? As we kind of talk about it, and I think we spent enough time on this segment today, but
Yeah.
I'd love to know chat's thoughts about this. Again, I don't necessarily, I can see this going both ways. I think as the producer side of me, if this was us and we did write the song, there is enough here where I would go, we deserved a call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right,
We deserve being talked to. We deserve to at least be reached out to. There's definitely a part there. There's enough of it there
At least reach
where
out.
I could see it sparking a debate. I think that there is stuff there. That being said, would it actually hold up in court? I think it depends on the judge.
And the worst part is that YG could just sit and wait for the next 3 months.
Oh yeah, just appeal the shit out of it.
Well, and
you
just
know.
appeal it until Supersonic, for like the next 3 months. 3 months, like up around there, 90 days, 1 quarter.
Mm.
Then Supersonic gets their check from UMG or check from
Whoever it is.
Whoever.
Right? Yeah, we don't know.
because their song just got streamed a million times
Yeah.
in the last few months, and then they get it, and then YG's like, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
You know, like, you just made a bunch of money because you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those weird things where I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't ever want to be in one of these.
Yeah. Well, and I think this brings us to our next one, because we have conversations every single day. We have business conversations. We have business meetings. We have investor meetings and business planning where we're talking about the future of music. And this is one of the big things that's happening right now is copyright. And so as we move on to the next thing that is definitely going to impact copyright,
Oh.
the next portion that we have that I think kind of lends itself to this last one is AI and the integration of AI into music. And we've had entire podcasts about AI in the past, right? Where we've kind of talked about it, and the rate at which AI is growing and having an impact in music is incredible. I feel like every single quarter there are like leaps and bounds changes in music and AI's integration. Just recently, Timberland announced an entire project with Suno.
Yeah.
And not only was he making music on it, but they announced the creation of the first AI artists. So they have literally, it's like a music video. They have this imaging of an artist that's clearly developed in AI, but through a very advanced form of AI that can keep the digital rendering and imaging of the artist. And all of the music is created using modeling from one voice.
Yeah.
And so that's not even a real person. It's all created in AI, and the artist isn't real. And at the same point in time, we can go, well, that's crazy. That's weird. How can that happen? But then we look at like K-pop Demon Hunters, not a real artist, and yet both of those groups are like the number one girl group and number one boy group in the world.
But to be
now.
clear, they're not AI
yet.
Well, yeah, yet.
Right? And so it kind of brings into question this whole thing. So let's tell you about what is happening and why we're talking about this right now. So over the last couple of years, there's a lot of cases really in the U.S. and most countries look to the U.S. for what copyright laws are here, and then those things kind of get disseminated because we are the largest country in the world. We share a lot of reciprocity with other countries when it comes to copyright agreements. And so the courts have ruled right now for copyright purposes is that if something is made entirely in AI, if the music, the melodies themselves are made entirely in AI, those things cannot be submitted or those elements of the song cannot be submitted to the Copyright Office for copyright protection.
Right.
Okay. Now that does not still mean that you don't have protections, because copyright technically starts from the moment that you make a song, but it doesn't give you the same legal protections. Okay.
Right.
So that means let's use this as an example. Artist A that would normally go onto YouTube to take a beat off of YouTube and put their vocals over it instead goes to one of the AI platforms and creates a backing track on the AI platform, creates all of their own lyrics, their own rap, their own melodies, whatever it is, and submits and releases that song. Currently, what would happen is that they could copyright the lyrics, the vocal melodies of the song. They could copyright that, but they wouldn't be able to copyright the backing track and the instrumental of the song via the Copyright Office. Okay? But even though that's the case, recently the Recording Academy, the Grammys, revised their rules to allow music with AI-generated elements to be Grammy eligible.
Okay.
But there's a caveat. Only if the human creator remains the dominant influence in songwriting or the performance. Okay? But then that brings a lot into question of what does dominant influence? Isn't them typing it in dominant influence?
Right.
And the question is, I think a lot of people at home that are going to be like, hey, remember when K-pop started doing really well and the Grammys was like, instead of letting them compete in our category and win, we're just going to create their own category.
Right.
So they can't compete against us. And it's like one of those things of like, there are a lot of groups out there that I think are probably pissed off that they don't have a seat at the Grammys, but AI now has a seat at the Grammys.
Dude, can you... So, K-pop doesn't have a seat at the Grammys.
Yeah.
And
well, it's not that they don't have a seat. It's not the same seat.
Right. And that's... So, like, that's... On its own, is the right word xenophobic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
On its own, that's xenophobic. The fact that K-pop doesn't have the same seat. And then AI does.
Can't be digitalophobic. I don't think that there's a word. Is there a word for that? AI-ophobic?
But the fact that it is even close.
Yeah.
Like, to let AI into a space where humans strive to be the best at something.
Yeah.
You're an asshole. Like, sure, dude. Like, get the best prompters and do the prompt Grammys. Like, just guys are just like, make the song all the song. And then it gives you a good song, and then give that guy the AI Grammy. But don't bring it in with human people Grammys. This is art.
Yeah.
This isn't like coding up a CNC machine. You know what I mean? Like, this is art. Like, what are we doing here?
So to your point, right, this is where we get into this kind of blurry ground, and we'll talk about the pros and the cons of this a little bit. Obviously, you clearly have a side on this, and I'm in the same space. So first off, the CEO, the Academy CEO, Harvey Mason Jr.
How old is this guy?
reaffirmed. I have no idea. I don't know.
Does he even know what AI is? Is
I'm
he
sure-
like in his 90s and just like,
who
yeah,
knows?
whatever?
Who but reaffirmed that pure AI submissions won't qualify. So reinforcing that human artistry must be retained and be the principal credit and control. Okay. Now this is going to move, and so let's talk about the impacts of this. Okay. What people aren't realizing is I think that if I'm on the pro side, right, on the pro AI into this side, I think that there's an argument that can be made where they're trying to get ahead of something that is an inevitability.
Yes, I get that.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we look at even in your Pixar movies, in your 3D animated movies, in your 2D animated movies, so many jobs are being eliminated right now.
Yes.
Because basically once you create a model, AI can do so much now that where does the art begin and the helping aspect stop? Like you said, the CNC person is not the same person running a physical lathe.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I think that's the same thing to be said, is that art is now changing, where the same person that needed to put 100 hours in to render the animated model before for a 3D movie now puts 5 hours in creating the bits and pieces of the model, and then AI goes and renders the rest.
Right.
Okay. And so, but that is the way that art is becoming. And so we're already seeing that so many of these helping tools, plugins,
Yeah. Dude.
and here's what I can say, because it's saying only pieces, right? This is where I could see them opening this up. We were talking about a plugin the other day that's actually really cool. Because one of the things that we do all the time, we never, ever really use loops or uncleared samples ever. We try to make
Right.
everything and every sound that we do from scratch. It's just something that we do. A lot of people don't, and that's okay. But there are plugin tools now that basically you go on and you say, okay, I'm in a part of the song, and you could just type in, hey, I'm looking for this synth sound. I don't have it. I'm looking for the synth sound. I don't want to have to go through and try to find it somewhere else or pay to
Right.
do it. It can create an all new one, and I can go in and I can type into an AI plugin and say, I am looking for a deep, heavy synth bass with mid-range focus or a 400 hertz bump or something like
Right.
that. And it can spit it out to you. Now, that now automatically is an AI portion that is now in your song.
Right.
Even though you were the creator of it, it is an AI portion in the song. And in a recent study that was done, I think they did like 8,000 different levels of producers, mixers, masters, engineers. It is something that over 25% of
Producers,
professional
yeah.
engineers, mixers, masters, and producers are using AI in some form in the production, mixing, mastering, or somewhere in their songs.
Now, I what's it called to say this? I don't like. I'm very skeptical about saying this
Yeah.
because people out there are real crazy. But there's a what's it called? VST,
Yeah.
Ozone 11.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what Ozone 11 is.
Yeah.
There's a function on Ozone 11 that it listens to your song and it helps you with the original master mix.
Yep.
So you click learn, you play it, and then in like 20 seconds your computer almost explodes, and then boom.
Yeah.
It sets you up your compressor and your limiter and your clipper and all that stuff, and it does what it thinks would sound good with your song. We use that all the time.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a good starting point.
Yeah.
And I remember when we first started using it, I was like, man, I really don't like this because I'm not learning anything.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I've gone to use it, I do learn, because you go in, you're like, oh, like why would they use a clipper on this song? Like I wasn't going to use a clipper on the end of this, blah, blah, blah. And you can go in and you tweak things and you start learning. But now we're getting to the point where Ozone 11
Yeah.
that you hit it and you press play and you're like, I don't think I'm going to change anything.
Yeah.
And like that's where it starts to get scary for me, is because like then I don't know how to mix a song anymore or how to master a song anymore.
Well, and then the point comes is at what point in time do they start firing mixing assistants and mixing assistants?
Yeah.
Now, and to be clear, what we currently do in our songs is we use these as quick fixes because we're not normally the ones that are mixing and mastering the
Correct.
finals of our songs anyway. We're doing it to get a reference mix
Right.
and get it close to send off, and then we have somebody else that does all of the legwork for mixing and mastering very, very few times. And when we do it ourselves, we spend a lot more time than that. But there is something to be said, and look at some of the biggest names out there that are creating these new plugins.
Yeah.
Chris Lord-Alge,
Yeah.
right? Is creating things now where it's like there's these mixing assistants that can listen to different parts of the song and just literally,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't need to make any changes. That is technological advances. And I still say that it's very, very similar. Think about when you and I were coming up and you had the old-fashioned analog only guys
Yeah.
that would sit in there and they're recording on tape, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, you screw up and you throw it out, and they're doing everything and they're recording it, and DAWs come out, and you can finally use them at home because the first DAWs we really couldn't do much with. You had 4 tracks, 8 tracks, like you could play a couple things. It's not like it is now, right?
160 tracks for a song that we did the other day.
Yeah, right. So it's very different. But even when they started, like people started doing these, and it was always like nobody's going to use those. That's going to be nobody's going to want that. They're going to want the original thing. All those studios are closed.
Yeah.
All of them are closed.
Yeah.
And this is I feel like that we're at a similar place where as technology changes, it first is the bad guy,
Yeah.
but then there's other jobs that get created due to that, right? Something else pops up. It's not going to look the same because there still are people like, okay, AI goes and does X, right? There still is something to be said of like every single time we still hear that and we go in to listen to it in, let's say, the car, your ear still can't be replaced.
Right.
There are things that stick out. There are really bad frequencies that stick out in a song or something like that we're going to still go in and we're going to have to carve out. So there's always going to be something. But there's just something to be said about that's what the future looks like, is figuring out ways to continue to improve our workflow to make it faster in order to create more art.
Right. And tools like Ozone and ones like that, like I feel like that is a great thing for someone who doesn't let's say they don't have the type of mind that can get them to ABC.
Yeah.
Like they can write a good song, but they can't make it sound good. Like tools like that are great, but when you start saying like I can open a DAW and type make this, that's where it gets kind of weird for me, where it's like is it art then if you're not expressing?
Yeah. I think that as people that are musicians, we would say no.
Right.
Right? That we would say, no, it's not art. But at the same point in time, I think, like you said, I think that there's ethical ways to do it, including like creating your own categories. I think we're already seeing, though, on DSPs, on places like Spotify and Apple, that it is becoming very, very difficult to tell the difference between what is made by an artist and what is made by somebody not. We had that whole thing with that group that blew up on Spotify that was completely AI. It's going to be crazy. So to kind of summarize this as we kind of move is pros. AI tools can definitely help level a playing field, and they allow more independent musicians, more independent artists, more resources to be able to produce things at a better level, right? Again, they are making our workflow easier a lot. Even tools like VocalLine.
Yeah.
Right? You could say that auto-tune is technically AI.
It is.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
And so we've been using these tools for a while. It's just taking a different thing. And I think under human direction that AI can create more opportunities, and it enables genres, it enables sounds that might be inaccessible to many people.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a pro. The cons is it's a slippery slope. And ownership then becomes very, very murky, especially when how many lawsuits are happening right now against companies like ChatGPT, against Suno and Udan or whatever Udio, whatever the other one is, and Gemini and all these places that are like scraping the internet from all of these things. And it's a multi-billion, almost trillion-dollar industry now, where it's just like, I think we're past the point of no return, where these AI is never going to get shut down.
Never.
No matter what happens. There might be some fines and it doesn't matter. They're going to keep going. And so it's like ownership is already in a murky place, because anytime that you use AI, what's actually saying that when we go in and we say, hey, I want this synth, it has to pull that data from somewhere. And so now we're kind of in like, what does ownership look like?
Right.
And what does that look like over the next 10 or 20 years? That's going to be a problem. I also think that over time, like prioritizing AI generated music, especially in things like the Grammys, which is supposed to be about writers, singers, songwriters, that just seems, it's like right now, it seems like such bad timing and such a slap in the face. It does really seem like hey, by the way, Timbaland just announced an AI artist, and so we're going to create a category so that like it can be submitted for a Grammy, because it's like this new thing. Like if I just want to like put a pool on like whether or not something with that ends up being mentioned or brought to the Grammys this year.
Dude, if a AI artist wins a Grammy for Song of the Year, the theater that places in it's just gonna be all the artists that got nominated that weren't computers are just gonna like pull out their lighters and just be like,
just light it on fire,
dude. Because like it's a huge slap in the face, and like who's gonna go and get the Grammy on stage? Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna pick it up? The guy who prompted it? Like, you know what I mean? Hey, thanks, guys.
I really worked hard on this one.
Right.
I went on there. It said create random prompt. I created random prompt. And I'd like to thank the Academy. you know, like
make a song like the Backstreet Boys, but not though.
Yeah.
Because I'm not allowed to type that though, and then but it's pop good pop about have good pop about have candles. None of it's spelled right. AI is just like, sure, I gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, like
wink, wink,
dude. I know we're wrapping this part up, but the amount of times that I've completely and 100, because I can't spell. If anybody knows, I can't spell. Like completely and 100% just destroyed a sentence talking to ChatGPT about a question that I needed the answer to, and it just be not even correct. Didn't even tell me that I did all that wrong. But just answer my question. It's like, dude, what? What's happening?
Yeah.
Like, at least let me know. Like, hey, you're too dumb for me to give you answers. You should learn more stuff first.
Talk better. Talk gooder first. So anyway, AI and the Grammys. Please, what's your take on that? We're going to have some actually specific questions that I have at the end that I think are interesting for people. But
I found my life.
Moving on to our next segment, Beanie and SB19 World Tours. P-pop's taken off. We're finally seeing some movement there.
Are they going on their world tours right now?
No. They're coming back.
Oh.
They're coming back right now. So kind of some highlights for those of you who don't know. So Beanie vs. World Tour 2025. Tour launch February 15, 2025. Filipino Arena. Beanie became the first Filipino act to actually sell out the venue with 55,000 plus seats.
Ooh.
So
whoa, let's not breeze past that.
Yeah.
55,000
seats. Yeah.
Did they I mean, not that I don't believe that they can do that. But did they do any ticket carpeting or anything? Like,
I'm sure that
55,000 is a lot.
That question just blew up the comment section.
Okay.
Right now,
well,
but so hold it though. Real quick. So right after that, SB19 does theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Philippine Arena. very, very shortly afterwards, May 31st. They sell out the same amount of tickets under 7 hours.
Wow.
55,000 tickets. And created a second show at Phil Arena to create demand.
You know, like, that says so much about the size of their influence in where this was in the Philippines.
This is in
right?
the Philippines, yeah.
Yeah, their influence in the Philippines, 55,000 people. That's not like 3,000.
Yeah.
That's more than 10 times that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge achievement for P-pop.
Yeah.
Like, huge, 55,000. Now, like, P-pop is still brand new,
Yes.
and
Very much.
there are 2 giant groups. There's like 6 groups that are like, like 6 groups that are like in
They're
mid-big.
Yes. Yeah.
Mid-big.
They're getting some traction. None of them could definitely do any kind of international, like real international tours right now, but in the Philippines.
Yeah. But and that's really it. So like, if that's the beginning of the story, 55,000.
Yeah.
Like, we knew this coming in, that the
One of the
Philippines,
reasons that we were there.
right, that the Philippines is the next place for music for 2 reasons. One, they have the best musicians in the world, and most talented singers for sure. But then also, their musicians are some of the best in the world. Like, they're session guitarists and things like that. And the population's there to really make a difference as far as like make a dent in music. Like, there's K-pop acts that we know the names of that might not be able to sell at 55,000.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Well,
crazy to me.
let's be fair. We did see. Personally, I went with a friend when we were kind of doing scouting and stuff like that, and kind of figuring out the venues and talking to some of the people from like Live Nation, and Stray Kids did not sell out Phil Arena.
yeah.
And so yeah, so it's definitely there. You hit one thing on the head. There's a population density aspect of it. But this is something that we had talked about. I mean, so when we decided to go to the Philippines, right? When we looked and we were like, hey, we're going to go, there were 2 things that we talked about. One was that we had, I think, correctly identified ahead of time that like people were sleeping on the Philippines, and that we felt, and I still believe, that the Philippines is going to have its own like Hallyu wave, like Korea did.
Yeah.
We're behind, but it is going to be happening probably in the next like 10 years. You're going to see this huge influx, and there's some things that we'll talk about that we're going to come back later that I think prove to that. And the second one was that a girl group would be the next group to blow up, which is why we wanted to create a girl group.
Right.
And this was 1.5 years before Beanie blew up, when we started doing our girl group, and then all of a sudden, and I remember when we first did that, and we were pitching investors early on.
Yeah.
And because everything was about SB19, and nobody put any attention on the girl groups. And I remember we would talk to investors that would be like, girl groups just can't make it here. There's no appetite for them.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. And like, those were the same people that were like bowing down later, trying to like get them as sponsors and everything like that, you know? So not only, you know, were we kind of proof right on that, but we're also seeing it because we're in a lot of talks with different now larger labels, organizations all over the world and in the region, specifically in like the Southeast Asian region. And there is a lot of push being shown towards the Philippines right now, specifically in the Southeast Asian market, and people trying to come in to be part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
and,
nuts.
And so yeah, it's not just we're not talking about, you know, like just Philippines artists. We're talking about international artists that are like now making Manila a huge stop. You okay over there?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get right.
I just didn't know if like you were like,
I have
you
a
know,
discomfort.
you have a discomfort. Oh, you okay? All right. You're like shaking the table you're like a wobbly old man. It's crazy. Okay. So anyway, we could talk about this as a whole segment, but to piggyback though on the worldwide tour part and why this was even bigger. So this is at home, but let's go to the worldwide part, because this is where we're starting to see more real attention being paid outside of the Philippines to the Philippines. Beanie's tour included 16 stops across Asia, Europe, North America, and the total attendance was roughly 65,000. So when you divide that up, it's roughly about 3,500 people per stop. No, sorry, a little bit more than that. 4,500 people per stop.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That's solid numbers.
And so that's great, and so we were really able to see a lot of growth there. They earned some awards recently for being like the first to hold 3 consecutive sold out shows at an Arena at the Coliseum. Then we look at SB19's concerts. They also did one. They did Taipei, Singapore, U.S., Canada, and more as well in their world tour. So we're seeing kind of this huge impact that they're having. And one of the things that I think that it's proving right now is that, like you, Filipino acts have the ability to draw massive crowds, and they are getting into world-class venues. I think that there have always, from all the people that we talk to inside, the talent has been there for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But the shows themselves, the behind-the-scenes stuff,
The
have
infrastructure.
always been lacking.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a change in that momentum, which is really, really great to think about for the future. And so these rival the early global moves that K-pop was making. So as we start kind of looking at the dynamics of this and where K-pop was in really their like kind of 2011 and 2014 era, we're seeing very, very similar trends. And it's interesting that it's happening at a time where K-pop is kind of hitting this head. And
Yeah.
there's actually been a lot of talks that the next generation of like K-pop girl groups hasn't really risen to the level that the generation before them has.
Yeah. And that's why they're, I mean, do you know who was behind Demon Hunters?
K-pop Demon Hunters. I know that the producers Twice did some of the songs. Some of the members from Twice did some of the songs in it. In fact, one of their song Strategy is in it. I know that a lot of the music was produced by Teddy and a bunch of people from. So yeah, it's a lot of the biggest names are there. And then the story behind the main singer, the girl Rumi, she actually was just like a songwriter that was doing a lot of songwriting, and they got so used to her voice. The other 2 girls I specifically found.
Right.
And then for her, they got so used to her voice that they were like, they surprised her one day. We're like, yeah, you're going to
be the thing.
You're just going to be the voice, which is really cool.
I was just wondering because like the reason that K-pop was so big at that time is because it became in vogue, and then it really, really spread, and it was novel, and it was kind of like the cool kids club, like when anime got crazy big, like it was like one of those things. It was like the coolest thing to do if you weren't cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, not, you know what I mean? They might not know what I mean, but you know what I mean.
It's okay. I wasn't cool, and I watched anime.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it was like if you didn't fit into the normal areas, like you weren't a Mr. Football, you weren't this or that, like that was the cool thing. And the K-pop was kind of the same thing. It's like if you don't fit into these things where like all the normal people fit into, this is where you got to be yourself, and you got to love a group and stuff like that. And all those fans kind of got a little bit older, and they're still into it, but they might not be standing the same way they were. Now K-pop Demon Hunters comes in, and now there's a whole new crop of kids that are like 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
So like that's one of the reasons why K-pop kind of plateaued, is because they weren't bringing in new fans, There was something else, something new. Well, taking up that space.
One of the things, I don't want to take too much away from the P-pop aspect, but one of the things that they're talking about is happening in Korea right now is that there is an identity crisis that's happening because there is so much of a focus. K-pop itself is very super saturated in Korea in terms of like the capita and how many people are actually listening to it. So there's not a lot of ways to go besides out, versus in the Philippines, it's the exact opposite. There's very, very, very few market share and very little market share versus the population. So there's so much room to grow. And so the only place that they have to go is out. And as you start catering to other markets, sometimes that deters your home market. And we're not seeing the same kind of excitement from their home market, which is really the bread and butter of what needs to happen. And so I think that that's what you're seeing, where you're talking exactly what you're talking about, is like you kind of lost that. Now, yes, you have this whole new group of people coming in, but what K-pop Demon Hunters has done that I think the Philippines also has the ability to do is almost all of their music is majority in English.
Yes.
which does matter, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the people that you're bringing in are going to go and listen to Korean music.
Right.
And so you're changing the dynamics. And I honestly think that where this is actually going to help the most, shows like K-pop Demon Hunter, yes, it's still going to bring a lot of relevance into K-pop, but it is going to put a lot of focus onto countries like the Philippines that are predominantly English-speaking countries that can create the type of music that follows up to this without having to put in a ton of work, you know? And so let's talk about that a little bit here. Is that some of those pros are obviously what we're seeing from this is Filipinos can draw massive crowds and that they're rivaling the K-pop groups. From an economic impact segment on this, I mean, SB19 did this entire thing where they set up for international people to come in. They set up this ticketing thing. So you could buy an international ticket package, and in that package, it automatically included your hotel accommodations, your transportation to and from the venue, and then the tickets themselves, and then I think like some merchandise or stuff like that. But we're going to come back to that because that pro is also a con, but very, very cool what they did that. And then it really is kind of showing there is a viability and that there is a visibility. So, and we're seeing it right now. I mean, how many groups have released this year? I mean, we've been working on ours for 2 years, but there's a lot of people racing, just like when we saw SB19 first take off. Beanie took off. Now we're seeing a bunch of girl groups release. How many of them are going to be around in a couple of years, we don't know, but we're seeing that. So there's a relevancy. However, there's a lot of challenges that this brings into the Philippines in general that are going to have to be addressed. And one of those, there's a reason that I think SB19 was super smart to set that up. And part of it is because there is going to be an increased market pressure, and increased visibility also brings more attention to the fact that there is huge infrastructure issues that international fans are not going to accept when they come to the Philippines.
Yeah.
Because there is an expectation of what they get when they do go to Korea or when they do go somewhere else to see these shows.
Right.
That is very, very difficult. And so SB19 was really, really smart in taking the infrastructure nightmare away.
Yeah.
And saying, you just need to get here. It is a nice accommodated hotel that you're used to. We're going to provide you the transportation to get back and forth to the event. And then once you're there, it's going to be kind of the streamlined experience.
Yeah.
That being said,
imagine being a person just from the U.S., not us, because we've been there.
Yeah.
We know the deal. Just like getting off the plane and being like, how do I get to the hotel?
Yeah.
And then
you don't know.
You have there's no way to know.
Yeah.
And then you pay somebody, because like in the Philippines, there's just somebodies that you can be like, here's, $20 or 1,000 P, take me to here. And then just somebody, not even someone that's on Grab. Yeah. Somebody takes you somewhere, and you get to the hotel, and it doesn't look anything like you thought it was going to look, because some places don't.
Yeah.
And then you have to figure out how to get to the show safely. And I will say, the entire time I was in the Philippines, I felt very safe. Mm-hmm. I felt extremely safe the whole time I was there. But if you are from the suburbs even in Wisconsin, you would feel like you aren't safe.
Yes.
Because of just kind of the way things look and stuff like that in certain areas. So for them to do that, that's huge. Like, it's showing the Philippines in its best light.
Yes, but it also shows that there is a cognizance that there is an infrastructure issue.
Yeah.
And one of I think the Philippine Arena is the perfect example. So I've now seen shows at MOA, I've seen shows at Araneta Coliseum, and I've also seen shows at Philippine Arena. And when we went to see Stray Kids at Philippine Arena, it was a mess. Not once you get into the venue, but outside of the venue. So you get there, and it's just this huge open space. It's 100 degrees outside. If it's raining, there's no cover anywhere. The lines are all over the place and not really well lit. Like, we ended up actually having to stand in line twice because we were in a whole line that somebody told us to get into, and it wasn't even the line to get in.
What was the line for? The bathroom?
We have no idea what the line was. I think it was for just like a different segment, but somebody did tell us that we talked to that was working there. So there's not as much communication. And I think that those things, if you go, again, if I went to, because I've been to we've been to the Kia Stadium in LA. We went to the shows in Las Vegas at like all these stadiums where it's like your experience is great. You don't wait outside the entire time. You wait in, once you get in, you're just in line to get in. You're not waiting outside for 2 hours to then get into the venue. You get in, you sit down, it's air conditioned, you get to go, you get to buy your stuff.
Right.
So the logistics aspect can be a nightmare. But if I'm coming from that, again, and I'm like, hey, I want to take this trip, and I just went and spent $2,600 or whatever it is to fly on a plane to get out there, and then, for my round-trip tickets, to stay there, be there for a week, and then my concert experience was really, really bad getting in, I'm probably going to go, maybe it's Singapore next time.
Right.
Maybe it's Thailand next time. Right? Maybe it's Korea next time. And so I think that what this is going to do is it's going to put a lot of pressure on creating a better infrastructure system so that they can continue to attract international talents, because like that's the next step. Like if you want to be able to keep putting these on, there has to be more.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to do more. The second one has always been, I think, a concern is like sustainability issues, and we've seen this ebb and flow before. SB19 rocketed, a bunch of P-pop groups come out. SB19 teeters off for a little bit. All of a sudden, most of those P-pop groups aren't even around today.
Yeah.
And the fans also come and go. So there's a sustainability issue. There's already talks about when you think about Beanie's numbers, they blow up, right? They go viral, hyper viral. They peak out at 7.5 million monthly listeners. Now they're back down. I don't know if they're under 2 now. They were right at 2, but lost 5.5 million monthly listeners. So is it something that's going to be able to, can they replicate it the way that K-pop continuously replicates it? And then compared to K-pop acts, where they're continuously exceeding these like kind of 50,000 shows, is that going to be sustainable? Now again, these are just all questions,
Yeah.
right? That we just think about for the long run. But I think it's a great starting point of, this is the first time this has ever happened. I think that we need to celebrate those victories, but there needs to be more pressure put onto, from you guys out there, really put onto major labels and major companies to start investing back into the infrastructure,
Yeah.
to start investing back into the art. Like, because unfortunately the artists are going to have a say in this. The artists are going to have to demand, hey, by the way, the stages need to be like this, and pony up for that. Because there is also, I've seen shows, P-pop shows at Arena to Coliseum and OPM shows, and I've seen K-pop shows there, and I can tell you there was a difference in quality, yet the workers are the same. But
Yeah.
it's because of the amount that they spent on
Yes.
the other things that are involved in the show.
And we've seen that before when we were there. I'm not going to talk about which company we were working with at the time
Yeah.
or whatever, but like there's this equipment and there's these guys and they're doing their thing, blah blah blah, and then and then a whole new batch of awesome equipment comes in, and those same guys are like, dude,
Yeah.
and then the quality goes up,
Yeah.
because somebody decided to invest in that moment.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to see. So like those same people are gonna do an even better job. It's just the stuff has to be there.
Yeah.
Dude, and as far as like the Beanie, like kind of the numbers of Beanie and SB19 kind of skyrocketing up and coming down and stuff like that, I think and as we see, so like you skyrocket up, you go down a little bit, but your down isn't as far down as it was before.
Yeah. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And it really hasn't. It's kind of been like, if this is where they were last time, they go up and they come down and they're like above it still, because you still get
Yeah.
new fans. And I think the reason why that would be is because of how new P-pop really is. People go, oh, this song that's on this OTS
OST. Yeah.
Or this thing or that thing, and it's like they're still getting more fans. It's just because there's only 2 giant groups and 10 groups to talk about, really. It's like that's just going to happen right now until there's a ton of groups doing big things.
Well, and also until they keep reinvesting. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it has to. People are so used. People always the one critique that we always get on the show is that we're consistently comparing K-pop to all these things.
Yeah.
It is the standard.
Yeah.
For this type of music, it is a standard. The U.S. music industry is also the standard for just generic pop music, right? Like, there are standards in the world that everything's going to get compared to because that's what the mass public is going to compare it to. In fact, the vast majority of people that live in any country that are listening to Sabrina Carpenter or BTS or whatever it is, that is their standard. And so we constantly compare things in our heads. But the reason that I say that is because one of the things that K-pop is doing really, really well is they understand momentum and they understand reinvesting heavily, and that you can't take short-term gains.
Right.
You have to keep reinvesting the money and reinvesting the money and reinvesting the money. And one of the things that we've, I think, seen over and over again is like songs do really, really well, and they're like, let's cash out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, we just made a bunch of money. It's like, no, you should have taken all of that, 100% of it,
Yeah.
and reinvested it way back so that you didn't get as big of a downturn.
Right.
Because that is the difference. With a lot of these K-pop acts, yeah, they're teetering out at 7.5 million, but their low is like 5. They never really dip. They have like kind of this bottom edge. And it's because they're consistently just reinvesting it in, making sure that the fans have more content, making sure that they're upping to the next level. Like,
Yeah.
you never, over the course of 10 years, you never see a K-pop group that has lasted for a long time and they don't up their level.
Right.
And I think that SB19 has shown that. Like, every single time they put something out, it's like they surprise you with the level, right?
Right.
But now it's also a thing of there needs to be less time in between because you can't wait 2 years. That's where
That's a
you
long
lose.
time.
That's where you lose the fans in
Yeah.
today's day and age. Is like, you just
Boom,
can't
boom,
wait.
boom, boom,
yeah,
boom.
your
Yeah.
casual fans. You're not going to lose your main fans, but you're going to lose the casuals, and then they're going to go to somebody else, and then they might not come back. And so these are just the things that, like, I think are going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Is like kind of getting that situation figured out. But very, very cool. Huge things that they did that. We're going to spend very, very little time on this next one. This is just the Four Spades comeback. Just want to mention it really quick. We did react to the
Ooh,
song.
yeah,
It's going to be out.
Dude.
Really, really great song. But I think that this ties in, and the reason I wanted to bring it up right after this is because one of the things that we also have to be cognizant of as fans is sometimes what we've seen is that there's also the tendency for this toxicity that goes the wrong way. And so this is a perfect example. So a group goes on a hiatus for about 5 years, kind of, and then comes back. So they left. They I think disbanded in 2020. They come back and they release this, and it's doing incredibly well. I think it peaked at number 2 on YouTube. There was the track itself. We listened to it, was amazing. Again,
So
go
good.
watch the thing. But it was a departure from their old sound.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people that were talking, like, there was expectations of them sounding a certain way.
Yeah.
And so then there's a lot of critics. Then they're like attacking the artist. It's like, but this is part of evolution.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you have to allow artists to evolve, especially as they get older and things like that. So there was that. And then also kind of like just talking about the loss of momentum, which, to be honest, I mean, I think that they're bigger now than they've ever been. So I don't think that it necessarily applies here. But there are people that have talked about, like, oh, well, you took a 5-year break. And I don't think that that's hurting them in this case.
Yeah, which is wild.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, this is a very different space. Like, the pop space, the hip hop space, the country space is kind of getting there too. Everything's very, very fast. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Got to have songs out like crazy. Whereas this kind of like indie kind of space, like, it's not like that. Like, it's not, people will sit on an album because of the type of music that it is. So like, that song can be played for the next however long.
Yeah.
And you
It's not a fad song. It's not a trend song.
right. It's not a trend. It's more of so of like, just, you could just play it in the car forever. You know what I mean? You don't get to forget about the band because that's not the same thing. It's not the same kind of art. So like, for them, like, dude, this song is really good. And their old stuff, we've heard a couple of their songs, but for the people who are mad that it doesn't sound like their old stuff, good, because it's not their old stuff.
Yeah.
Like, did you really want them to just write the same song? because you can just go listen to that song.
But unfortunately, I mean, this is what we're talking about. And the reason I think it's cool that it comes into the last place, because part of building infrastructure is also about building fan infrastructure. And this is one thing, like, yes, I think that Korea has a lot of, and K-pop has a lot of toxic fans as well. But for being such a fledgling scene in P-pop, it is so much more evident.
Yeah.
Like the curated spaces, because they're so small, there's so much negativity compared to positive, like just per capita.
Yeah.
I think. And this is where we have to make sure that we're building good infrastructure from social networks as well. Like continuously attacking artists or attacking labels or attacking people for taking chances is ultimately going to end in them not wanting to take chances. And when groups like this come back, that negative feedback is just like wild to me.
Right.
Because it's just like, I think that there is this, people almost feel like they have ownership of their favorite artists, and it goes way, way too far. And so we see that. And I think that part of that infrastructure and what we're seeing here is like, artists evolve. It's also very important that the fans start evolving with the artist.
Yeah. There's so many there's so many bands from back in the day that like definitely changed their sound but like, do you really want them to make that same record that they did last time? Like, will it even mean anything to you? Because that record meant something to you because it talked to you at that moment in time. If they wrote the same exact stuff, like it's not gonna speak to you the same. Like these guys wrote a song that says something different than all of their other stuff.
Yeah.
And just give it a chance. And like to leave for 5 years, come back, put out a banger, have it get the numbers it's getting, but then also have like the 10% be crazy loud and rise to the top at the same time. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's one thing I want to say for all those people out there who are like positive, like very positive commenters on whether it's the girl stuff, whether it's our stuff, whether it's this band stuff. Like, the positive people do the same thing as the negative people do. Just be louder.
Yeah.
Like, be louder for your artist, because the negative stuff rings louder even when there's just one.
Yeah.
When you go through some comments, and like we go through the comments on the girls' videos, right? We're looking through them, and they're all so good. They're so positive. And like, I see the one negative one. Doesn't have anything to do with the part that I did.
Yeah.
It has something to do with the girls, whatever it says. And like, it just sticks out. And like, it can hurt your artist or any artist. Like, artists are sensitive people.
Yeah.
Be nice.
Yeah.
Or don't say anything.
Well, and I think it really comes to, we forget sometimes in the positive, like we like something and we just kind of move past it without thanking them for the art or thanking them for the time that we just spent on YouTube. And I think that the one thing, like if you want a really cool way that you can thank your artist, even if it's putting an emoji up, even if it's saying, hey, awesome song, leave the comment. Like for the people out there that are just kind of like lurking and just doing it, take the extra 2 seconds to leave just anything positive.
Right.
Because it really, really does help. It really does help drown out the noise. But it is like the negative ones get the attention. And so, but it's also because people are far more likely to leave when they feel something negative. They're far more likely to leave something negative than positive people who are just like going about their day are to leave something positive.
Yeah, that's the cesspool of the internet.
Yeah. So take some time, help out your artists, and to leave that. I just kind of want to leave a lasting thing. One of the pros that I thought was just so great about this whole journey with them coming back is the fact that it's doing as well as it is, but there was no flashy production.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that was one of the things. Again, check out the reaction video if you want to see it. It'll be out soon. But very, very cool. Hats off to them for the comeback. Finally, just to kind of wrap things up here, KCON.
Come on, you asking the bricks and come see us blow kiss. Click, boom with the shit. Make his jaw drop with the arsenal. We don't ever stop. Click, boom with the shit. What you looking lost track, baby? I'm a construct. Hip, move the shit. Always stay fit like I'm telling no
KCON LA 2025 Global Showcase. So KCON LA will
See you
run
there.
from. We
See
won't.
it- See it.
We
what?
won't. No,
We won't see
No,
him there?
we're not going to go to LA. It's literally today.
Oh.
So it's running from August 1st to August 3rd. We're not going to see you there.
Yeah.
August 1st, August 3rd at Crypto.com Arena, Jackson Wang, NCT 127, Monsta X, aespa, Key from Shiny, a bunch of other emerging artists. So there is a special collaborative set on a dream stage that's expected. It's going to be very, very cool.
Imagine being at LAX the day beforehand, just being like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like all the security and like just.
If you don't know.
Yeah.
And but one of the things is we kind of talk about the cultural appropriation
Are
stuff in
all
the
the
back.
presidents here?
So Kiss of Life, though, important to note as we kind of talked about the stuff before, Kiss of Life actually ended up withdrawing from the lineup following the cultural appropriation backlash for their live stream content, which sparked broader discussions about the sensitivity in the festival curation in general. So there's a lot of things happening right now, but if you are there, check it out. Just kind of want to talk out some pros and cons of this really quick, because some of this is just really for like people to know in case they don't know of like some of the things that are out there, and for this in particular, kind of talking about some of the things that are missing. So one of the things KCON does really, really well, live streaming and access to live streams and high quality live streams, which have been kind of a disaster as we've seen it on the other end of things, and the lineups have been really great. One of the things that we'd like to see overall in the long run would be that PPOP can either can be included in this one in particular. I know that last year Beanie was included. It does not look like there's any inclusions for PPOP groups this year, which I think is a loss, especially because SB19 was out there around this point in
Right.
time. We don't necessarily know. Maybe they were invited and it didn't fit. But there wasn't any inclusion this year. So there is, I guess, some questions about cultural inclusion, though it is KCON, right? So
Right.
for
Yeah,
K-pop. But it has broadened over to other ones. But it also, I think, talks about what we really need to start doing in terms of making things like we're so far away from having something that's this big and significant for P-pop.
Yeah.
The fact that there can be a KCON in LA
That's
where all of these artists come in is what we should be striving
That is
for,
wild.
Essentially. So a lot of work to do, but again, feel free to check that out online and let us know that. And finally, I just kind of want to do that was our main segments for today. We still somehow did an hour and a half
oh my gosh.
today. It's crazy because like once we start going, like I
have to be so
I was trying to move us along before, but like there's so much good stuff to talk about.
I gotta. Oh,
What?
I said-
You got like 5 minutes, or you got to like go right now?
No, I got 5 minutes.
Gotta go. Okay. Fan questions, really quick. Let's get into them because I wanna ask you guys. So I got a couple of them that I would love to hear back from you guys. So as we talked about AI,
Mm-hmm.
first off, should AI assisted songs be eligible for the Grammys if the lyrics and the vocals are 100% human? Okay. You don't get to answer this. They get to answer this. I want to hear back.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to give a bunch of questions that people can do, and these are ones that I kind of want to come back to them next time. We're going to do like a little recap of the
Gotcha.
next one,
Okay.
okay? How would you feel if an AI written song outsold your favorite artist? And do artists still need labels in 2025? Are we witnessing an era of DIY dominance?
DIY dominance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you guys, in the P-pop category and Philippines specifically, does Beanie's arena tour make them the new face of P-pop, or is SB19 still the blueprint? Okay.
Oh, now
So
you're just trying to get people to fight in the
look,
comments.
I am not trying to. First off, I didn't come up with all these questions. Okay, we have curated people now that like work
Okay.
on some of these things for us and then give us a list for the podcast. But for some of these, it's about starting discussions. But it is very interesting to see like what people's things, or is it both? Like I think that there's a thing, a claim to be made that there is something that's happening on both sides of it, right? So why isn't P-pop on KCON's dream stage yet, and who would be the best act to represent the Philippines? And this could even be a later act because there are new acts that are coming out every day that I think are speaking to a different audience.
Yeah, there are.
And Is the industry really ready to fund P-pop tours at the same scale as K-pop ones? Okay.
Yeah.
So some questions for you guys. Finally, comeback culture. What's the difference between a comeback and a rebrand, and who is doing it right? Who out of your favorite artists out there doing it right? And would For a Spades been hyped as much if they had dropped Aura just 1 year after their hiatus versus waiting 5 years?
Right. No,
right?
I'm.
Okay.
I was gonna answer, and then I was like,
So we could go with a whole other thing. So anyway, some questions for you guys at home. I'm excited to see them. Now, what we want you to do is I want you to leave those answers with your secret emoji codes down below, so we have the ability to do those. So if you want to go ahead and give a secret emoji code.
Pickle.
yeah,
Pickle. I'm going to go with garbage can.
pickle garbage can.
Pickle garbage can.
Yeah.
All right. So leave those down below with your answers to have a chance to be featured in the next podcast. But really, at the end of the day, the music industry keeps moving. But it's going to be up to all of us to ask how, why, and who is really benefiting from it. Whether it's AI songs or Filipino acts taking over global stages, what matters is the story I think that they're telling. And we need to keep telling that story right here.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for joining the podcast today. Please let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Answer the questions. Ask some more questions yourself so we can answer them on the next podcast. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, don't forget, we have a girl group that is out now if you're looking for another girl group to stand. Their name is FINIX, FINIX. All of their social media says We Are FINIX. That's just it. We Are FINIX, at We Are FINIX.
Yeah.
And also, there's links in the description if you guys want to follow them every day. They are on a special app called Hey Roomie, where you can go every single day. You can check in. You can literally talk with them on there. It's a new fandom app that we've partnered with that is out right now. So check that out down in the description below. If nobody told you that they love you today, please don't forget that we love you. You are appreciated, always welcome here on this channel, and you are enough. And last but certainly not least,
It was a great day to play.
thanks, guys. We will see you in the next video.
See ya.
Bye-bye.